day 12, it's a full house. And it's very important to the sumo people that they get as many bums on seats as possible. Japan going through a bit of a economic slump at present. The bubble economy's burst, as they say, and all the sports are suffering, including sumo. So our first bout here, Asanowaka against Chiyotenzan. So a win there for Juninichi-me. Sorry, slight correction. Now we have Chiyotenzan, and he's fighting Asanowaka. Well, these two have only fought twice before, each has won once. So Asanowaka at one time with the black mawashi, a very colourful character, larger than life. Then he got told off by the sumo authorities, and now he's blander than bland, apart from his sumo. So an abrupt about turn for Asanowaka. Now Jumonji fights Tamakasuga. Both are around the 155 kilo mark. And there's a slightly unusual grip there. It's two hands against one arm, just under the armpit, but then that's broken out from. And now neither wrestler seems willing to go for the belt. It's a fight of the arms there, a lot of pushing and pulling, twisting and turning. So eventually Tamakasuga gets that one. That was his 5th win. Jumonji already with Makikoshi. So yorikiri win there for Tamakasuga over Jumonji. Now Daizen against Akinoshima. These two veterans, Daizen's 36 years old, Akinoshima's 34 years old, have fought each other 5 times in those years. And Daizen has won 4 of them. And there's his 5th win. You can see that Akinoshima's feet skidding away on this slippery surface. 8th loss for Akinoshima and Makikoshi. Now Kotoryu, still with a bad arm, fights Tosanoumi. This is their 9th head-to-head. Kotoryu has only won 2 of them. I'm back down again after that false start. Usually it's the Gyoji that calls mata, which is to say stop, go back again. Sometimes one of the judges will do that. They're a little bit too clever, these two, I think. It was a win by Tosanoumi. He managed to get round the rear of Kotoryu and push him down. But after the full starts, it never really livened up. Now Otsukasa against Tochinonada. If Otsukasa loses this one, he's already got 7 losses. That will give him Makikoshi. He's got to avoid that situation at all costs. So there comes out hard, drops his head into the chest of Tochinonada. Tochinonada, the more powerful of the two, as you can see. So that's 8th loss for Otsukasa. That's the Makikoshi for him. Still at Maegashira 4, he's got plenty of room to move up and down the Maegashira ranks yet, before he faces the possibility of demotion to the next lowest division, the Judo division. This is the view there of the Aichi Prefectural Gymnasium in Nagoya. Always held here when the basho comes round to Nagoya. 3 bashos in Tokyo each year, and then 1 in Kyushu, 1 in Osaka, 1 in Nagoya. Now Kyokutenho fights Higonoumi. Kyokutenho there getting the advantage, just slightly sideways onto Higonoumi, locked onto the belt quickly, kept that oblique pushing angle and forced Higonoumi out with yorikiri. Kyokutenho ambidextrous fighter. He's good either with the right hand on over the top, the Iwate position, or the left hand over the top. Usually the Rikishi will prefer one or the other. Now Takanonami, a man who won 2 bashos some time ago. January 96 he won one, and then in November 97 he won a basho. But there Hayateumi, the younger wrestler, disposing of him there almost contemptuously. He had his Hayateumi had his right hand under the shoulder of Takanonami and just lifted him up virtually with one arm and shoved him outside the ring. So Hayateumi's second win. Spectacular one at that, and 9th loss for Takanonami. Asashoryu now against Toki. Well, we know what a rough fighter Toki is. He's obviously going to give some stick to this Mongolian. Mongolian seems determined to give some stick back, judging by the number of slaps they give to each other's belts there. So now Toki not really going for the slaps. It's Asashoryu who's slapping the bigger man. Look at that. He's certainly going now. Toki there tries to wrap both arms around Asashoryu's neck, and even as he went out, Asashoryu bunged in an unnecessary slap. Well, that was an interesting one. Toki didn't really seem to get into that at all. So Asashoryu's 6th win, and that was 7th loss for Toki. Wakanosato, the man we saw defeat Musashi Maru yesterday, that enormous arm throw, with nine wins here, fighting Kotonowaka. They fought each other 7 times. Kotonowaka's won 6 of them. But Wakanosato certainly seems on form. Struggling a bit there. Kotonowaka's got his long arm in, and you can see he's got his hand on the belt. He's denying Wakanosato that grip with the left arm. And Kotonowaka using that height of his quite successfully. Wakanosato seems to be neutralized a bit. See the way that arm's hanging down. Tries that underarm throw. Can't get near it, and there, that was an interesting maneuver there by Kotonowaka. Wakanosato just trembling on the brink, and Kotonowaka just turned around and nudged him out with his backside. Don't think there's a name for that in sumo. So that was 5th win for Kotonowaka and 3rd loss for Wakanosato. So it's sorting itself out now amongst the leading pack of wrestlers. And it looks like it's going to be a race between Kaio and Musashi Maru. Now, Tochiazuma, 7 wins. And Takanowaka already on the right here with 8 wins. Tochiazuma and Takanowaka both off the mark about the same time and locked in tight. Didn't look as though there was any particular advantage either way there, except Tochiazuma just in the closing milliseconds of that spun him over and out with yorikiri. So 8th win and kachikoshi for Tochiazuma. Previous basho he had 9 wins, so he's got another 3 bouts yet before the end of this basho, so in theory he could possibly go up to 12 wins. Now Kyokushuzan fights Musayama. These two have had 12 head-to-heads previously, each has won 6. Musayama had a tournament win in January 2000. Some time ago, hasn't done particularly well since then. Oh, that was very neatly read by Kyokushuzan. Just reached out, grabbed his arm and spun him over. So Musayama there, slightly asleep by the look of things. 6th win for Kyokushuzan and 4th loss for Musayama. Well, that winning move by Kyokushuzan there, known as Kata Tsukashi. Now Tamanoshima. Not so long ago he had a different name. He changed it to give himself more luck. He was calling himself Tamanonada. Now Tamanoshima. These two have never fought before. Chiyotake slightly faster off the mark there, leading with the tsupari, the whirlwind slaps and pushes. And Tamanoshima not really in that. So 3rd loss for Tamanoshima. He's retreating back from the chance to win the cup at the end. And that was 10th win for Chiyotaikai. So it's Masashi Kaio, Chiyotaikai probably will be contending for the cup at the end. Not impossible for one or two others to come through, but a little bit unlikely. Unlikely in the sense that as the basho draws to its conclusion, the bouts get tougher and tougher and tougher. So the ones that have got a good score have got an uphill struggle from then on. The ones that are just slightly behind the leading wrestlers. So now we have Miyabiyama and Kaio. They fought each other 13 times. Kaio's won 11 of them. Both about 170 kilos apiece. That's just under 27 stone in UK weight. So Miyabiyama right on the start line, driving in hard against Kaio. He's not giving him any chance. It looked like he had him there, but Miyabiyama lost it at the end. Kaio was definitely struggling. Miyabiyama certainly had him on the run, and then he let it go, almost a dive of desperation at the end there. So that's 6th loss for Miyabiyama and 11th win for Kaio. Well, let's watch that one again. Kaio was struggling in this one. Miyabiyama comes across the ring, across the circle there, the intervening gap, more quickly. Gets Kaio moving backwards, thrusting in with head and hands. Kaio does a brief turn there, teeters on the edge, and then Miyabiyama dives. Well, I wouldn't say he dived deliberately, but he somehow slackened off. Now, the Yokozuna, the sole Yokozuna. A man who has to uphold the tradition of the Yokozuna all alone. Takanohana's resting this one out. Wakanohana's gone. Akibono's retired. So there's a big gap at the top there. Kotomitsuki now eager to get going. These two have fought each other 4 times before. Each has won twice. Kotomitsuki in his 6th basho. See how eager Kotomitsuki is to get across there. All the other wrestlers say that Masashi Maru's shikiri, that's the crouch down, and his start, the tachi is difficult to read. So Kotomitsuki there, a little bit rattled, I think, by those full starts. Comes in hard, but he just no use against the massive bulk of Masashi Maru, who just shoved him with his shoulder. So oshitaoshi win there for Masashi Maru, just shoved him down at the end there. Certainly Kotomitsuki was eager to get into that play, but it's the full starts that I think upset him a little bit. Let's watch that one again. So Kotomitsuki dives forward, almost loses it, recovers very quickly. But it's watch the movement forward of the wrestlers. It's Masashi Maru who's moving forward all the time, and then a big shove from one of his arms. So at the end of day 12, we've got in the front, it's Masashi Maru and Kaio with 11 wins and 1 loss. Behind them with 2 losses, Chiyotaikai, and behind him with 3 losses, Wakanosato and Tamanoshima. So there's 3 more bouts to go before the end of the basho. So it's possible in theory for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wrestlers to come through, but it seems most likely it'll be either Masashi Maru or Kaio.